Yes, we are live. Welcome back, my dear friends, to episode number 24 of Zero Point Healing Show. And in this show, we are going to discuss about creating true inner freedom by healing self-worth. And we are going to use the tool rapid transformational therapy to achieve that. And talking about self-worth has been one of my major blocks, which was pulling me back in my life when I was in my business career before I became a healer and a therapist. So this is very close to my heart, and I'm gonna love this session as I have with me Jessica, who is a rapid transformational therapist. But before I move on to her, a little intro about me. I'm Vishnupriya, and as I said, I'm certified in RTT and many other modalities as well. And as I traveled through these different modalities, I could find that each modality has its own uniqueness, its own magic and miracle that it can create. And each of these modalities started changing my life. And that's how Zero Point Healing was born. Zero Point Healing is a platform that I've put together for all healers and therapists and facilitators of all different healing modalities. And in this Zero Point Healing show, I welcome them, I interview them, we ask great questions as well as get free healing that they are here to give. So they share their gifts, they share what it is that they are here to do, and they share their wisdom. So if you are a healer or a therapist yourself, I welcome you to Zero Point Healing. You can register in zeropointhealing.com, and you can also let me know if you're interested in doing this interview. Okay, so my intro speech is over. So now let's go on to Jessica. Welcome, Jessica. Thank you so much for being with us today. So let's get started. Tell us about you and tell us about how you found RTT, the Rapid Transformational Therapy.
Well, thanks so much for having me today. I'm so excited to be here. And it's been quite a journey, I think, finding rapid transformational therapy. It's such a unique model that really gets to the root cause on a subconscious level. But prior to finding RTT, much like yourself, I was studying so many different things that, sort of can shift our mindset, that heal us on a deeper level. And I studied in my own country, I studied psychotherapy, emotional freedom technique, and like you talked about, all those were so helpful. But I was really looking for something that really got to the deep layers on a subconscious level. And that's when I found RTT. And it was really in a health crisis when I was so tired, burnt out. I was working in the corporate world, and I would come home every night and I would just fall asleep. And I was just finding myself frustrated because I had already done a lot of work on this, but it just seemed to keep coming back. And that's when I stumbled across the amazing Marissa Peer. And when I heard that she had this technique called rapid transformational therapy, I knew it was the technique that was going to make deep and profound changes in my life. And it's, I trained over a year ago, and since then, I've never looked back.
That is so amazing journey. And tell us about rapid transformational therapy and how it has changed your life, how it has helped you. Especially going into the topic as well, how did it help you heal your self-worth?
Yeah. So rapid transformational therapy, it really goes back to the root cause. And when you get to the root cause and you really heal your self-worth at the very deepest level, when, going back to the moments when we first started not believing in ourselves. And a lot of times we sort of forget what those moments even were. And so RTT allows us to access that. So we can start to, feel enough, and we can start to feel worthy. And when we feel that in our bodies, so much more is available to us. And for me, some of the changes have been, I feel so healthy now, and, I've attracted more money, success, my relationships improve. And I think the biggest thing about RTT is compared to some of the other things that I worked with, it's helped on pretty much anything. And, and I found that, all areas of your life can be thriving. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And I think that's really the unique part of RTT.
That's amazing. And yes, RTT is like a 360-degree. All areas of your life is covered. And especially when we are working with beliefs like I'm not good enough, for example. And if we are able to change that belief to I am enough. And I love Marisa Peer's book, I Am Enough, because that one change can actually help us change our financial situation, help us change our health conditions, and help us change our relationships. So it just affects all areas of our life just by changing that one belief from I'm not good enough to I am enough. So yes, and as how we have been hearing from Marisa as well, it is like every time we regress a client, it goes right back to that belief that I am not good enough. At the end of the day, that is what each one of us are holding on to, and that's amazing. All right, so tell us about the kind of like going back to the topic, creating true inner freedom. So what does that really mean to you, and how do you work with your clients to achieve their inner freedom?
Yeah, so I think after doing a lot of, personal work on myself and working with my clients, started to look at how do we create true inner freedom. And one of the things I discovered that I think that there's four main parts that we need to have to sort of have that true inner freedom. And when we have that, everything can be available to us. And, the four main parts are, the first one I talked about was that self-worth. Knowing that we are a good person and that, just by being alive, we are worthy of love, we're worthy of everything. And when we sort of believe that outside of all the external, then everything is available to us. And then the next part is the self-trust. That is trusting our intuition, our inner guidance, to make the right decisions. And I think a lot of us along the way sort of lose that. We start looking to others to make their decisions. We doubt ourselves, and I think naturally we do know how to trust ourselves. It's just more about going back and reclaiming that. And then the next piece is the self-love that we make space in our lives, for the rest, the relaxation, the fun, the play, all of that we're not simply going and doing all the time. And so the self-love is just giving ourselves permission to be human, to take aligned action, but also just to have fun and be ourselves. And then the last key element is the inner resilience. So we're always going to be faced with obstacles and challenges. And when we develop the inner resilience, we know that we can come back from any of those challenges stronger and more aligned than ever. And so I find when you have four of those areas aligned, everything is so much easier. And so I really work on my clients to ensure that they have these four areas, that they've addressed them and they've healed them. And it's not that it's a fixed journey. Sometimes we have to revisit it a little bit. We start to step out of our comfort zones, and that could, we might have to relook at the self-trust piece, for example. But it's all a journey, and I think these four key elements are so important.
Yes, and I really loved the four elements to it. It's self-worth, it is self-trust, self-love, and then the inner resilience. Those are the four pieces. Wow, that's amazing that you have put together the four major pieces of the puzzle together. Because yes, that's especially the self-love piece is one of the things that we are not taught. Even self-confidence and self-belief is something, at least a little bit, we get taught about it.
Yeah.
But self-love piece is, I think, totally not available to, especially during our childhood, our education and all of that. No one has really taught us that we have to love ourselves in order to achieve our dreams and goals. So when I started off in this journey, and and self-love being one of the major pieces as well. When we hate ourselves, then there's nothing else that's going to happen in our lives that we want. So
Yeah.
that's, yes.
Yeah. And I think too, we're all searching for more confidence, and we're all searching for more of those, amazing external experiences. But if you address all four of those areas that I talked about, the confidence and the other things will come.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about having that inner trust in ourselves, that once we work on ourselves, it's every moment is okay, even some of the challenging moments.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and you said about other modalities that you learned which did not help, but RTT made that transformation in your life. So, can we go into the structure, how an RTT session would look like, and what is the magic that you found in RTT which made this profound change in your life?
Yeah, so one of the things with RTT is it really works on a subconscious level. And our subconscious mind is responsible for about 90 to 95% of our thoughts. And so a lot of the other models that I talked about work more on a conscious level. And while they really, really do help, I actually find now with my clients, those techniques are so much more helpful when you do the RTT first. So I actually give a lot of those other things that I trained in to my clients. But because they're doing the RTT at the same time, it works in an even more transformative way. And so it's like combining the conscious mind with the subconscious mind to get more of the transformation and more of the results that we're after. But going back to the RTT, it's about going back to 3 or 4 scenes that, maybe where we lost our self-worth or where we lost our self-trust, and giving new meaning to those scenes so we can step up into our lives more aligned and more authentically who we are. And one of the unique parts of RTT is we create a very personalized transformational recording for the clients that is personalized to them, that they take home, they rewire their mind, and it starts to become more familiar. And because it starts to become more familiar, they start doing new actions and new behaviors. And it can happen on a very subtle way, because it feels like as you start to make the changes, it feels like it's you. You don't even realize you're making the changes till one day you're like, oh, wow, like I just, stepped way outside my comfort zones and didn't even realize I did that.
That's nice. And yes, the RTT itself is like a, a beautiful set of tools in one box. It has the regression where you are regressing a client to their childhood days to see where this kind of limiting belief started off from. So it has the hypnotherapy part of it, as well as it has the other set of changes, like when we discuss about the structure. So there is the other, maybe I'll let you say about it. So tell us about all the beautiful elements that there is in RTG.
Yeah, so as you first talked about, there's the regression part. Before we even go into the regression, we take clients into a highly relaxed state. And because they're so relaxed, it's so much easier to review scenes from the past, because we're so relaxed, and we go into different brain waves. And once we review the scenes afterwards and we determine the meaning, there's a lot of different other techniques that we can do. We can start to, become the loving parent to that child, because everybody has experiences from childhood that impacted their self-worth, because there's no perfect parents. And so we get to tune into that inner child and meet their needs, and that becomes our role. And that is very powerful when you're sort of in that relaxed state. And and then there's upgrading, the child into where you live today. And a few of these parts I'm actually going to show a little bit later, when we do the taste RTT, which I'm so excited about. But there's so many different tools, and I'm very grateful to Marissa, because I find it's so, when I work with clients, every session is completely different. Even though we're given a framework, I use my intuition of what tools I need to use with which client.
Yes, and that's the amazing part of RTT is as well. It is not like every session is not going to look the same because there's different set of tools that we can use. And depending upon a particular client and what kind of scenes they are seeing, as you mentioned about intuition, which plays an amazing part in RTT as well. And then at the end, there's also this transformation recording that we are doing.
Yes.
And that is one element as well that I love about RTT, because it gives after a session you would be given a 15 to 20 minute rewiring, subconscious mind rewiring audio, which you have to hear for 21 days before you sleep, or before you kind of in the wake up state, because that's when your brain is in theta brainwave state, and that's where the rewiring of the subconscious mind happens. And that's how the change of belief happens. For example, if you're believing I'm not good enough, if you have to believe that I am enough, you can have thousands of affirmations that you can say every day, but
Yes.
still, if it has to go into the subconscious, and that's how RTT clearly does it, cementing those beliefs in your subconscious mind. And that's when the changes in the life happens. That's so beautiful. So now let's get started with the short and cute hypnosis session that you have for us.
Yeah, so I'm so excited for this part, but before we get to that, I just have a little disclaimer I have to go through. So rapid transformational therapy does use a form of hypnosis. It's not recommended if you currently suffer from epilepsy. And if you suffer from a serious mental health disorder, I am taking during this taster back to your childhood home, so that part wouldn't be recommended for you, but you could also just listen to the final part when I do the transformation, as that's perfectly fine. But for anyone else, I'm so excited to do this, and you can just find a comfortable spot to sit down or lay down, and whatever's comfortable for you. And just a little bit of what I talked about is we'll be going back to the childhood bedroom. We'll be upgrading the child, and then upgrading the child into where you live today, and then doing an inner transformation. Okay, so get comfortable and just find a spot to sit down and lay down. And just take a deep, lovely breath in. And let it out. Allow any stress just to easily melt away. Again, take another deep breath in. And I want you to look up at a spot overhead as if you're looking into your own eyebrows. Just allow the breath, just allow it out, and feel yourself becoming fully present to the experience. And one final time, take a deep breath in and hold for 3 seconds. And as you start to let it out, your eyes are beginning to feel heavy, droopy, drowsy, and your eyes are feeling sealed shut, glued shut, locked tight. And a drifting, floating feeling is starting to develop in your body as you relax easily and perfectly into relaxation. And just lower your head just a fraction, as if you're looking down a flight of stairs. And in a moment, I'm going to take you down those stairs, and you are so aware how wonderfully amazing and pleasant this experience is going to be for you. And so see in your mind that flight of stairs, and you're taking the first step onto step 10, and a wave of relaxation comes upon you. You take the next steps onto step 9 and 8, and you feel your feet, see your feet treading with each step. You take the next steps onto step 7 and 6, drifting down, traveling down to an even deeper level. You take the next step onto step 5, and you notice you are halfway there. Take the next steps onto step 4 and 3, and a beautiful light sensation is descending upon you, coming upon you. You take the next step onto step 2, drifting down, traveling down to an even deeper level. You take the final step onto step 1, and you arrive at the bottom, feeling so peaceful, so relaxed, and so secure. You are drifting to the most relaxing and healing level, and your conscious mind is drifting effortlessly away, and your subconscious mind is becoming very receptive to the words, and it is becoming highly responsive. And now, as you have relaxed into this very relaxing and healing place, I want you to see in your mind the place that you lived from 0 to 8, your childhood home. And if you lived in multiple places from 0 to 8, intuitively, you know just the right home. And you see that home and you walk up to the door. You open the door and you go inside. And you intuitively know where that inner you, that inner child lives. You go up to their bedroom and you go to the door and you open it. You go inside and you find that younger little you, and you go in and you sit down beside that younger you, and you ask that younger you, are they happy? And you wait for the response, and you are so connected to that younger you. You know exactly what they are feeling and experiencing. And you ask that younger you, what kind of things make them sad? What kind of things make them unhappy? Do they feel heard? Do they feel seen? Just allow the answers to come. You feel so connected, and any emotions that come up, they're perfectly okay. You have a connection. And now that you have an understanding of what that younger you was feeling and experiencing back then, you give that small child the biggest hug. And as you give them a hug, you tell them that they matter, that their feelings are important, and that you listen to them, and that you are there for them. And they feel this sense of connection and peace because they are listened to. And now you take that younger you by the hand, and that younger you feels so safe and secure with you. And you're going to take that younger you to where you live today, to upgrade them into your world and show them all that you have accomplished. So you take them by the hand and you walk away from your childhood home, and in your mind you see a path to where you live today. And that younger you feels so connected as they hold your hand. And you go to the place where you live today. You open the door and you go inside. And you take that younger you and you show them around. You show them all the wonderful things in your life. And you tell them about all the wonderful things that you have yet to experience. And you know that both of you are an unstoppable force when you two are connected. And that inner you is so happy that you are with them, that you're listening to them, listening to what they feel. And now that you've shown them around, I want you again to give them the biggest hug. And as you give them a hug, you are so connected to their heart, and they are merging into you, and they are staying with you. You have upgraded them into your world, and you know that their needs matter, that they are important, and you are so in tune with them emotionally, physically, and mentally. And you are an unstoppable force, and inner freedom is available to you. And now that they have merged into you, you are now ready for the most wonderful and amazing transformation. You are relaxing to the most healing, and transformative level. And you know at your very core that you are worthy and deserving of the very best that life has to offer. And because you believe in yourself on the very deepest level, you trust yourself, you love yourself, and you have this inner resilience within you. Everything in your life is unfolding naturally for you. And as you step into life, you are stepping into life with a sense of peace, with a sense of clarity. And people are magnetized to you because you are radiating a sense of joy, a sense of love, and you are in alignment with your most true self. You are loving, lovable, and enough just the way you are. And because you believe this on the very deepest level, everything is available to you. You are powerful, loving, and you surrender to loving yourself on the very deepest level. And you are thriving in all areas of your life. And you know you have the tools, resources, and the most phenomenal coping mechanisms to respond to any challenges that life presents you. And you know that you're enough. You've always been enough. And you take this in with every part of your being. And you are changing in the most powerful and transformative ways. And in a moment, I'm going to bring you back to your full awareness, feeling safe, feeling secure, and feeling so present to this moment. So on the count of 5, you're coming back to your full awareness, feeling relaxed, feeling inspired. On the count of 4, you're coming back, feeling motivated. On the count of 3, you're feeling grounded, you're feeling centered. On the count of 2, you're taking a deep breath in. On the count of 1, you're just opening up your eyes, coming fully present to the moment, coming back, feeling centered, feeling alive, and feeling inspired.
Wow, that was amazing. I was totally in a different world. I was like slowly coming back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, was this an interview? I was like totally in a different world. I was like going into the childhood home and then taking up, and from there different homes started coming up. So everywhere, and I started also seeing some events, specific events, and then I started clearing it out as well, doing my own type of healing in between. But it was amazing. Wow, thank you so much for giving us that experience of, I think the upgrading child is the major part of RTT, which you have given us for free as a free gift for us today. Thank you so much about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how even just like we just did a fraction of what RTT is, and it's still so powerful. And that's just amazing part. But it was such a joy for me to do it today because I just love RTT and bringing it to the world.
Yes, we can see that as well. So tell us a little bit about the services that you're offering, different packages that you have.
Yeah, so I have 2 different packages. I have a 30-day and a 60-day package. RTT works in amazing ways. So it's a lot more of a short-term type of therapy. For some people, the 30-day is, what they need. They might have one key issue that they're really looking to work on. And for some people, they might need the 60-day if there's a couple areas in their life that they want to change and address. But within my packages, I give them, full support, email support. And it's not just the RTT. I bring all the tools that I've learned over the years, and I bring them with such a powerful technique like RTT, and it helps clients make incredible changes. And I sometimes look at clients and they don't even look like the same person sometimes after, because, they start to, glow and radiate, and, and it's all about just wanting to thrive and, embodying who we always were, and getting back to that self-trust within us.
Yes, and that's what I like about healing and therapy work, because each one of us have our own unique set of tools that we bring in. And each healer, even though they might be two RTT therapists, but how they do the session and what all they bring in will be totally different and unique. And that's why each one of us who one of the healers that I'm interviewing here, even though they might have same kind of, for example, RTT, but then what they share in this show and what kind of gifts that they bring in is totally unique, even though the certifications may be the same. And that's what keeps the show as well very live and interesting to share this knowledge with to the people. All right, so we have Jessica's link in the comment box below, so you can click on that and book a session with her. If this session resonated with you, if you really loved the healing session that you received, then yes, Jessica is the person whom you can go for a full-fledged RTT session, where you can work on, as she mentioned, she has combined all of these four major areas: the self-worth, self-trust, self-love, and the inner resilience. And when you work on that, I think that itself is like a full set of package. And she has amazing 30-day and 60-day packages that she's offering. And we also have a 10% off discount coupon code for you, and that is 0 point. You can mention to her when you are contacting her. All right. Thank you so much, Jessica. Any final words?
Yeah, I guess, I think what I was always searching for myself is just that feeling of, feeling enough. And I think when we have that, life is so much easier. And I just really like to empower my clients that there can be an easier way.
Yes. And thank you for all the work that you're doing. It's really empowerment is what we need in this world at this time. Just letting people know that they have a solution for their problems, and the solutions lie just within them. By empowering themselves, they can overcome those problems. I really, really love all the work that you're doing as well. Thank you so much for coming to the show and sharing such wisdom that you've got along with the free healing that you gave us. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. It was a pleasure to be here.
All right, my dear viewers, I'll see you in my next show. Until then, bye bye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.